This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Dr. John Deloney, best-selling author and host of the ever-popular Dr. John Deloney podcast, is my co-host today. You can talk directly to him. The phone number is 888-825-5225. If you didn't know, he talks about life and anxiety and boundaries and mental health and those kinds of things, relationship issues. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about your money. We'll talk about your life, and we're going to do it all right in front of you. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Starting off this hour is Caitlin in Houston, Texas. Hey, Caitlin, what's up in your world?
Hey, Dave and John. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
Hey, so my fiance and I were due to get married in about 2 weeks, and I'm due with our first in September. My question is about prenups. I've heard you talk about them previously, but not as it relates to a business. And he's brought it up once before. I explained to him why I don't like them, and I actually sent him a podcast you did on it, and apparently he understood from there, and the subject was dropped. But he's brought it up again, and he wants his business land, money he's acquired to this point, all in the prenup. So I don't know what to tell him or how to help him understand my perspective, or maybe I'm wrong about businesses in a prenup. He had a previous business partner go through a divorce, and the wife tried to take part of the business. So I think that's part of his concern, but I don't know what to tell him or how to go.
So what's he make on this business?
He has a 50-50 partner, and he makes about $67,000 a year.
Okay. Whoop-de.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say high five, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, but I mean, he doesn't make $680,000 a year. So,
yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts, and most of them are too mean to say out loud without filtering them. So,
and it's hard for me to be quiet because I've got a lot of mean thoughts in my head. So
well, you go first, old meanie.
Caitlin, I don't like.
Here's Mean John. Here we go.
I'm going to go nice. I don't like prenups. I don't like them. It feels like you're walking into something that there should not be an exit strategy for, with at least a crack in the door or a toe out the door, unless you've got some really complex situations. I just don't like them. And I get that he's seen somebody get burned. That makes sense to me. What I don't like is you guys sat down and had this conversation. You talked about it. You made peace with it. And then 2 weeks out, he circled back. And that feels like a move to me. That feels like a move that lacks integrity.
Yeah, like this discussion should have had before we made a baby.
And it sounds like you did have it, right?
And this discussion should have been had before we were 2 weeks from marriage.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
I did bring it up previously. He just, I said no, and he agreed with our stance on the podcast. So our stance on the podcast is what John is saying. Okay. Right. And I'll repeat what I probably said then, because it's what I say every time I get this question. Okay. If everything is fairly equal, and this is fairly equal, I would not marry someone that required a prenup, because you are planning your failure. You're planning your failure. And he loves his business, his half of his business, more than you. He's more worried about his business partner than you. And that's just, he didn't mean to say that, but this action says that. And so, no. Now, and I used to, when I first started this, and you heard this on that podcast probably, because I almost always say this, I used to say no prenups ever. The only time I say a prenup is a good idea is in extreme situation. That's why I asked about the size of the business. If he's making $1 million a year on this business and they own $20 million worth of property and you got nothing, yeah, that's an extreme situation. And that would warrant the difference is an extreme situation. And even then, I'm probably not, 50% of the prenup is for the actual marriage, but 50% of it is for both of your crazy relatives. Because Uncle Crazy as a June Bug shows up
and decides he wants your Uncle Crazy Junebug decides he wants a piece of your husband's business that was there before you were, or Uncle Junebug showed up, and you can just throw up your hands and go, I can't help you, I got a prenup. And so it keeps the weirdness of your extended family in line, and all extended family has weirdness. It's just every family. So it's good in extreme situations. This is not extreme enough. This has to do with he was wounded by the other deal, and he's extrapolating that into your new marriage, and that is not good medicine.
Right. And here's my concern for you. This leaves you really exposed either way, right? Because now you're having to either go into a marriage and sign a piece of paper that you don't feel comfortable marrying, which is going to put a wedge between you and this guy that you are tethering yourself to for the rest of your life. Or you're going to be a single mom here in September, right?
Yeah.
So he's put you in an impossible situation, and that's why, even beyond the prenup, I'll even go as far to say I get that he's been burned and he's been hurt before, and that's a scar fresh on his soul. I get that. Cool. I don't like that he waits till that feels like a move to me, and that feels like somebody that's going to pull move after move after move on you here in the future.
And even if he wasn't meaning to do that and was manipulative,
right,
he has unbelievably bad timing.
Right. Yeah.
At a minimum.
Yeah.
That's giving him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, you settle this before we make babies, before we get engaged.
Right. And here's the bigger thing, Dave. I know there's millions of people that are going to hear this and say that's stupid. That is stupid. You got to protect yourself.
If they say that, they're stupid.
I wasn't going to say that, but here's what I was going to say. If that's your first response, then don't get married.
Yeah.
Don't get married.
Let me give you the weirdest one I ever had was a lady called and said, my fiance has a classic 1968 Mustang that's worth $140,000 that he built frame up, and he wants a prenup to protect that. And Papa Dave said, don't marry him.
Yep.
What? Don't marry him. He loves this stupid car more than you.
That's right.
Don't marry him. If it was my daughter, I'd run that guy off with a gun.
Right.
No, do not marry him. This is not marriage material. He has his priorities all screwed up. If you love a car more than you love your fiance, you are not marriage material.
And it will move over time. That car will become a boat, which will become a house, which will become my kid's going to this college and nobody else. It'll become a thing.
It has to be, I'll take a bullet for you. It's the only shot you've got at making it through a marriage.
Yeah, because you got to burn all the boats, man, because marriage is hard.
Yeah. It's everybody's going to have a moment where you go, I'm done with you.
I'm out.
I'm out. And if you say you haven't had that, then you hadn't been married.
Then you're lying. And then you got to run to
you're lying.
You got to run to the shore and realize, I don't have any boats.
Oh God, I said, there's nowhere to go. I can't drive off in my classic car because again, And so you got to make it work.
I want somebody that will look at my daughter and my son and say, I'll set that car on fire for you.
Yeah.
That's the guy that's going to sit at my kitchen table.
Yeah.
Right.
And this business is how I make a living, and I love my business and I love being in business, but it doesn't even show up on the same spectrum.
I'll walk away from it all tomorrow.
Of my love for you.
That's right.
Now play that one back for Bubba. This is The Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Well, we decided with the Ramsey research team that we wanted to learn not from the timeshare industry and not from the people who hate the timeshare industry, but from you, what you think of your timeshare, because there's all these surveys out there, and I'm calling bogus on these surveys about the timeshares. Well, at least there's one done by the timeshare business that says 87% of the people love their timeshare. There's one done by the University of Florida, I believe it was, that said, Central Florida, I believe, did it, that said 87% of people hate their timeshare. So that was probably more credible, right?
I did a survey of husbands in my home who think they're incredible, and it was 100% response. They really are doing a great job.
4 out of 5 dentists who used the toothpaste. But anyway, so we're going to do a timeshare piece. We're going to do some research and see what you guys think. So we're putting it out there. We're going to do it to the public, and we're using our normal research procedure. But we're also going to ask you guys. You hear me talking about timeshares? I want to hear from you. Are you a current timeshare owner? Are you a former timeshare owner? The new survey, we want to know your thoughts, your opinions, and your experience with timeshares. So if you want to participate in the research and the survey and tell us your thoughts, notice I'm not telling you what to say, but we'd love to have you call. I mean, we know what you're going to say because you're listeners. But anyway, we're going to look at that as a part of the research. Text timeshare to 33789. That's timeshare, one word, to 33789. It might be really interesting to have some of those issues that are exposed in that research turned over to some of the state legislatures that regulate these businesses. I wonder what would happen then.
Yeah, I would love to see. Well, they need their constituents to reach out and say, "Hey, we're tired of being trapped by this."
Yeah, and it could be that this research shows that their constituents are being screwed, and that maybe they get tired. I don't know. You never know. You just never know.
Data, man, has a way of humbling us all, right?
Data is real. Michael's in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Michael, how are you?
I'm good, Dave. Thank you so much for taking my call, you and Dr. John.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, so we moved. My wife and I moved to Nevada, Las Vegas area back in September. Thought she needed to be in a bigger city for her work. I was commuting close to 2 hours for my work. Obviously, COVID changed everything. She's now able to work solely from home pretty much with very little travel. So we decided to move closer to my job so that I could actually be part of my family. We had several months left on the lease. We worked it out with, we asked our landlord, hey, if we get someone else in here to take over this, can we get out? He said, absolutely. Then he listed the property for $400 more than we were paying. We thought we had someone else lined up. That fell through. But we went ahead and made the move to Arizona anyway to cut out that commute. And so now the lease actually ends on August 10th. We're already in a new place in Arizona. And so we're just trying to figure out what the best thing is to do with this situation at this point.
The deal was that if you could re-rent it, that he would let you out, but it didn't re-rent.
It is not re-rented as of now.
Yeah. And so you're not out. So you're in. That's the deal you made, right?
Right. And so I'm wondering, it's causing a lot of stress and anxiety for us, and I don't know if it's better just to pay out the rest of it.
Yes.
It's better to hold on and hope he does.
Yeah. No, that's your deal. Well, no, I wouldn't finish paying it. I would pay it out monthly.
Okay.
You have rent due at the first of the month. I would pay it at the first of the month. I wouldn't pay it in advance because he might rent it. And so if you pay, I guess July is coming up, and then you've only got August 10th, so you've got a partial due August 1st, right?
Right.
But even that might be forgiven if he rents it August 1st.
And I guess my question too is this something that I need to have a conversation with him about? I think that he's overpriced the market and he doesn't really care because he's got us paying the rent.
He's going to care August 10th.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we kind of.
Which if I'm in his shoes, August 10th is approaching quickly, and I'm going to price it appropriately so that I have a tenant in there August 1st, so I don't skip a beat, even if I lose 10 days on you. But prior to that, he was just fishing for a nut to get somebody to come in high. Right?
Right.
Yeah, I agree that he didn't necessarily do you fair, whether it was intentional or not. But it is the deal you made, and you didn't save any on the rent. But yeah, I would just pay him July 1st and pay him 10 days on August the 1st, and just be in communication with him and say, by the way, are you going to drop this so you can get it rented and get me out? Because it seems like you're high.
And my guess is, if y'all got the money, the anxiety you feel is that you're walking around all day thinking, I should be doing something. I'm getting ripped off. Just let it be, man. Pay the rent and then move on. And you're going to feel some peace in your life.
All right. Well, that is great advice. Thank you all so much.
It's annoying. It's frustrating. But
by the way, Michael, you didn't do anything wrong. You did this properly. You did it. If you would have called me and asked me in advance what to do with it, I would have told you to do exactly what you did, except I think you didn't get the agreement in writing, and you should have gotten that. But other than that, I think you did a good deal here. You used good decision-making skills. It just didn't work out. You didn't get out of the lease because they didn't rent it.
Yeah.
And, you might have, on the front end stated that you're going to, we got to list the thing at market value and let's establish market value, but you don't get to tell the guy what he rents his house for. That's his house. So that's part of the problem.
And you learned a lesson. Next time that you move, you'll never make this mistake again, and you'll figure it out, and you'll go from there.
Yeah, you don't move before, or you
get something right.
Plan on eating it, and but you approached this the correct way. I do want to tell you that. I don't think you messed up. I don't think it was a mistake. I think it just didn't work out. John is in Cedar Rapids. John, how are you?
Doing well. Hope you're making it a great day.
We are, sir. How about you?
Doing quite well, thank you.
How can we help?
So, me and my wife have about $15,500 in student loans that have been in default for quite some time, and I've got it on top of that and about $1,117 in medical debt. And we have been working on baby step one, and we have amassed about $23,000 in savings. And the biggest problem we've been having is we've not been able to communicate with some of the student loan collectors. They're not taking our calls. They're not answering our letters. Same thing with the medical debt. And my work free legal service that includes debt negotiation and debt assistance with a lawyer. And my question is, I've got the money, and I won't be deep to get too far into our emergency savings, so that we can pay this all off and be debt free in one go. Should we be be using the lawyer to take care of that, and also looking at potentially negotiating down that debt, but still having it be paid in full? And B, I want to be debt free, so I want to be done with the student loans, regardless of the fact that it's zero interest till September.
Yeah, you need to write the checks and be done. You just got to find somebody to write them to, and find somebody to get agreement on what the amount is, because all you've got is an estimate.
Yep, and I want payoff letters so that I can literally have cashier's checks cut and sent and be done with it.
Exactly. So the medical debt came from. Well, here's the thing. You can turn it over. You said it's prepaid legal or somebody like that.
Yeah, it's my work pays for. My employer pays for a legal plan that basically I can get a ticket to my lawyer and they charge the legal plan, and it doesn't cost me anything.
Okay. For
matters like this.
Yeah. Well, the problem might be that you don't get good attention from the attorney. And so you can try that, but I would put the attorney on a short fuse and say, I want this solved. If it's not solved within 60 days, I'm going to take it back and fix it myself. So
yep, totally understand.
Yeah, because I'm a little bit afraid somebody slow walks, puts you on the back shelf. It's a small amount. It's a prepaid legal thing. I don't know what's going on with all that. So I want to make sure you get service. But if you want to turn it over to them for 60 days, that's fine. But do exactly what you're talking about. Otherwise, you're going to have to start just really trying to source this by pulling a copy of your credit bureau report and trying to get back to the original medical provider that you owed this to, and see if you can go back through them to get to whoever it is. It may require just a little bit of effort, but it might. Try it with a lawyer if you want, but ultimately you need to get it pushed through quickly.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Thomas and Emily are with us. Hey, guys, how are ya?
We're excited to be here.
We're nervous and excited.
Good to have you. Well, you'll be okay. We never lost a patient.
I know.
So, where are you guys from?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, love me some Charleston.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a food scene almost as good as Nashville.
Almost. Maybe a little better.
Oh, dude, they recoiled at that, man.
It's okay. They're both really good food cities, I'll tell you that.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Welcome, guys. And how much debt have you paid off?
We've paid off $103,831.
Whoa. Love it. How long did this take?
28 months.
Okay. And your range of income during that 2.5 years?
It was $84,000 to $150,000.
Wow, nice jump. What do y'all do for a living?
I work in HR for a food and beverage company.
Of course you do.
And
I'm a professional chef.
Right. Yeah, no, I wish too. I was a student, a full-time personal trainer. I did Rover dog sitting during this time and Instacarted. But now I just got my real estate license and I'm actually working for one of your ELPs.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Very cool.
So.
Yep.
Welcome to the fold. Very nice. How long have you guys been married?
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
She looked at you like, don't mess this up, man.
Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Yeah. And what kind of debt was the $104,000?
So it was mostly student loans of $74,000, and then we had 7 credit cards of $16,000, and then phone and a personal loan to wrap it up.
Okay. Who had all the student loans?
It was pretty evenly balanced. I had a little bit more than she did.
Okay.
I did a lot of DUMB to get mine. Yeah. So.
All right. Good for you guys. So obviously you had talked about this prior to marriage, because right after you get married, within just a few months of getting married, you dove in and started getting out of debt, right? So tell us the story. What happened?
Well, we got married, moved from West Virginia to California. Most of our baby step 2 took place in Bakersfield, California.
Oh, wow.
So newlyweds, new city, new jobs, new church, everything. And we were in a small group, and a Ramsonite there was a small business owner, and I wanted to be a full-time personal trainer. So I went to go have lunch with him, like, hey, let me ask you some questions about running a small business. He basically looked at me like, you're not ready, man. He started asking me all the questions that you would ask on the show. And later that week at church, he was like, hey, I got a gift for you. After church, we met up with him, and he gave us the FPU box kit that had the book.
Wow.
And the, portion to go online and take the FPU course. So we pretty much went home, talked about it very shortly, and just started chugging along through the lessons and watching the videos. And Emily was, she was ready to jump all in. I was like, okay, I'll certainly do this with you. I don't have a problem with this. But it took me a while, Uncle Dave, to hop all on and really to believe that it was possible, because we had a pretty big hole.
Yeah. Well, it's impressive. Well done.
Yeah.
Got to feel good. Y'all feel
great?
Oh,
man, it feels amazing. Yeah.
I mean, you got rid of $104,000 worth of debt.
Yeah, we did.
That's stinking amazing. Okay, so Emily, at what point in this 28 months did Thomas go all in instead of I'll help you with your plan?
I would think about 4 months in.
That's not bad.
It didn't take that long. I'm not as stubborn.
That's not bad. You didn't drag him halfway through.
No. Yeah.
So what do you think flipped it? What was the switch that flipped, Thomas, for you, where you went from I'm going to be helpful, I'm not going to be a hindrance, but I'm going to be half of this, I'm going to carry the load?
It was really just owning up to just where we were at and where we wanted to be, and where I wanted to be. I come from a family that experienced some financial hardships growing up, and I didn't want to be didn't want to be in the same situation. I didn't want my kids to be in the same situation.
But that was true before the 4 months.
Yeah,
what happened at the 4th month?
I don't know.
Here's what it is, Dave. She looked at him and said, "Your hair care products are coming off the budget until we're done." He said, "I'm all in."
I'll take that compliment. I'll take it.
I'm only saying it because you got beautiful hair and I'm jealous.
I think it was listening
John, you're
to the
just
show.
creeping me out at this point.
It definitely was the radio show. The radio show is phenomenal. After I started listening to, I guess, the Debt Free Screams and all the other people who are our age in our situation.
And that was before
in our
you were
same
on.
hole.
Fair enough.
It made me believe that we could do it too. So, yeah, you guys are hilarious.
That's awesome.
Hey, so how has your marriage changed? You're a young married couple. You went from West Virginia to California, back to the East Coast. How's that changed your marriage?
It's changed everything. We've learned so much about each other, about marriage.
I would say that why you can keep going is for what is the dreams afterwards, and so what do you want to be doing, where do we want to go, and so your communication of why we're doing this was a lot stronger.
Right.
So it's a much easier way to communicate, even if it's a different thing or goal he wants. I understand why, and now we're debt free. We can start to prioritize how do we go after all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really
And now
good.
you have a roadmap for all these conversations, right?
Oh, of course.
Exactly.
Any kind of conversation.
It's so nice being on the same page, especially with money. It's just we don't have to really think about
it's
it.
not an
it's just
argument.
it's just this is what it is, and this is what it's going to be. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? You've been through Financial Peace University.
Man.
You paid off $104,000. You're rock stars.
I would say the tithe, continuing to tithe the whole time, letting God do with 90% what we could do with 100%, 100% of the time it works, and then communication with Thomas.
Yeah, mine would be ownership. Like I said earlier, it was really you got to own up to where you're at, especially when you start, thinking and talking about dreams and where you want to be. You have to really go all in. You can't get out of debt easily, like you say all the time. It's easy to get into debt. It's hard getting out. So it was really, for me, it was about ownership and working together, combining everything, realizing that it's a team effort.
What was
just
the
working
hardest
together.
point in the whole process?
Oh man, well we moved to California.
Starting, ending, middle?
Starting was
Middle.
I would say middle. I mean, we lived in California for the majority of baby step 2, and there were there's so much to see and do out there, and we wanted to do as much as we could, and it was saying no to a lot of things. We had a great family out there, Discovery Church. We had some Bakersfield parents, Dustin and Jenna, who really helped us out during those hard months or hard weeks where we were saying no to a lot of things when people were going and doing a lot of stuff. And Dustin and Jenna actually took us to one of your live events out there in Orange County.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right before COVID.
Oh, wow.
So,
Very cool.
Yeah.
I would say we also said yes to things that I wouldn't have wanted to do, like 13 dogs for Christmas for
Oh, my
dog
gosh.
sitting. So
Yeah.
the side hustle just exploded.
Yeah, we dog sat a lot of dogs. I walked a lot of dogs. It was quite the ordeal.
Yep.
How much
13
we sacrificed.
dogs for
I think at
Christmas.
one point we had 18 dogs on the books during a given week. It was kind of wild. We would have been your favorite tenants, Dave, in one of your rentals. Yeah. We would have been like, we're getting out of debt.
You
man.
had to
Come on,
move.
cut us some
You had to
slack.
move to Charleston to get rid of that smell, man. I get that.
Oh, you have no idea how many times I steamed clean carpet. How many times, I would look at Emily and be like,
Your
"Man,
landlord
this is
in
worth it."
Bakersfield, you just said, hey, you know what? You keep the
Yeah,
deposit.
we really,
exactly
we were like, you can have it.
You can just have that.
We're
yeah.
so proud of you guys.
Way to go.
It's incredible.
Now that it's all done, will you ever go back in debt?
Oh,
No.
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 Good. Very good. We got a copy of the Legacy Journey for you. That is the next stage in the next chapter in your story for sure. And am I seeing a little one off to the side?
You are. Our everlasting gift from Bakersfield. This is Elizabeth. We moved right in the middle of a pandemic. Emily started a new job. And we had a little
baby,
one,
right in the middle of all that.
Right in the middle of 2020.
Oh, fabulous. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
And
She
she's
was-
got the headphones on so you can do an actual
Yeah.
debt-free
She's ready.
scream.
Yeah, this is
Not going to blow her mind.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Very cool. That's awesome. Well, you've changed your family tree, and you are leaving a legacy. So the Legacy Journey is our gift for you, and one of my latest bestseller. And then, of course, the Total Money Makeover, which you can give to someone else, pay it forward, and get someone else's journey started. So proud of you guys. Very, very well done. You're heroes.
Thanks.
Very well done. Thomas and Emily, Charleston, South Carolina, $104,000 paid off in 28 months, making 84 to 150. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free!
Man, she brought that one from the floor.
Yeah. And those headphones work. That baby didn't move.
Didn't even flinch.
That's awesome. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Amber is in Dallas. Hey, Amber, what's up?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
I am calling with a little bit of a different question about trying to manage life in crisis or in high stress. So my husband and I have been married for 2.5 years. It's a second marriage for both of us. We have 5 combined kids who are 14, 14, 18, 19, and 21. We both work full-time and have this family of 7 that we manage. And in the 2.5 years we've been married, 1 full year was cancer treatment for me, and another year has been a pandemic. And while we are doing really well financially, I think we are just both completely spent. And right now I feel like we can't get our feet underneath us to try to make any financial progress. We're just kind of barely holding on financially despite making a lot of money. So I'm just trying to, I guess, ask, how do we manage that? How do we take it into bite-sized pieces when we really don't have the time to take any bites?
So walk me back to a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You met each other. You get married. Did y'all just jump in and say, hey, we're going to be the Brady Bunch. This is going to be a blast. There's 7 of us. We're going to figure it out as we roll. And then you got hit upside the head with a cancer diagnosis. How'd that play out?
The cancer actually came before the marriage.
Okay.
It came about 6 weeks after the proposal.
Mm-hmm.
So by then we were already sort of jumped in. And that was an awful year that had a job loss and a new job and a wedding plan and a remodeling and a move and cancer and, chemo, surgery. It had everything that year.
So
how you feeling now?
Yeah.
Good. I'm good.
So I may be reading into this, but I hear in your voice that if you talk about this just on the wrong day, you can cry real hard and it's hard to stop. Is that fair?
We're just really tired.
You sound exhausted. Not tired, but you sound exhausted, right?
Yeah.
So often when folks get into survival mode, they just start sprinting as fast as they can in 1,000 different directions because their body says run and fight everything. Right. And one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself is come what may, we're going to stop. And this sounds cheesy, but you got to just acknowledge and take a State of the Union. And then you got to sit down and grieve what was. We thought this was going to be, what's not. And only then can you then begin to heal and make plans for what's going to come next. But the more you run, the more exhausted it gets. So it's almost as much as some sort of marriage retreat or family retreat, or we're just going to go away for a day. And people do this in their businesses. We do this in our marriage a lot now. We learned this the hard way because I like to solve things by getting busier and doing more stuff, which usually led to more tough stuff or no margin to handle whatever calamity came our way.
What do you do for a living?
I'm the controller of a university foundation.
What about your husband?
And my husband, he works at a big aeronautics government manufacturer kind of thing.
What do y'all do on Sundays?
Well, we used to go to church, and COVID kind of took that away. We haven't gotten back in the habit.
Well, that wasn't to shame you. I was just trying to figure out if you ever have a down day.
With 5 kids, it's hard. It's really hard.
No, it's not. You just say, no, we're staying home.
Yeah.
And your youngest one's 14?
We do that.
Yeah.
We have 14-year-old twins and then 3 girls in college.
Oh, so 3 are not there.
Well, they are right now.
Yeah.
They are right now for the summer. So
But
we'll
sometimes
have the third interscollege in the fall.
But
Yeah, they're independent human beings, though.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah,
need your
they are.
emotional energy, or they shouldn't.
But in theory, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can stiff arm them a little bit. I mean, really, Sunday, you need to pick a day, what John's saying, and get back to a rhythm of slowing down. And I think if you did a calendar audit, you would probably find too much crap on there that doesn't need to be on there.
That's true. That's probably true.
And that is the symptom of what John was saying.
Right.
And even the way you just responded, a lot of times folks will get cancer. They will get, they will feel that during that healing process, everybody rallies around them. And then there's a guilt. And then there's I'm going to make it up by being everything to everybody. Am I right?
To some degree. I mean, we really don't even have kids that are highly involved in things. I mean, we're not heading off to soccer games and that sort of thing. It just, between trying to keep up with a household where things break and two very busy jobs and, it's just a lot. So,
Yeah. Well, here's what I heard from my seat is the same thing John heard, is just exhaustion. And it's almost impossible to manage money well when your emotional tank is completely empty.
Right. That's exactly where we are right now. And we have plenty of money. We make a lot. We have no.
But you're not. But you have no emotional energy to make it behave.
Exactly. That's exactly where we are.
Yeah.
I have zero control over our finances.
Yeah, it just comes in.
What feels like everything else in our
the
life.
spending is as frenetic as the earning, and as chaotic as the earning. They're both chaotic, and it's a crazy cycle, and the only way to get off the crazy cycle is pull the plug and rest.
Okay.
And you've been through trauma after trauma after trauma, and trauma's cumulative. Think of it like a backpack full of bricks. And until you sit down and take them out and show them to your husband and say, this is what I've been carrying. Y'all may have experienced the same thing, but you experience them differently. Grief demands to be witnessed, so you're going to have to show him, he's going to have to show you, and you're going to have to go, whoa. And then at some point you bring your kids into that. The old Vessel Vanderkolk book, the classic, The Body Keeps the Score. It's got a tab on you, right? So until you guys stop and go, we have been through hell.
I went through COVID as well, in the sense of it was a year from hell trying to keep this business open and running and keep, an extra dose of the haters coming around and all that kind of stuff. We had all of that here, but you know what? I didn't have cancer the year before, so I came into that strong, emotionally, spiritually, physically strong. Now I got drained through that year, but you came into that year with chemo, off the backside of chemo.
Absolutely.
And so you like the WWF, you tagged up between two traumas.
Right. And then last year got a promotion, which is a great thing, but it has meant just a full out at work. And
Well, and he's going to have to dial that down. Yeah. And you're going to have to dial it down. You guys are going to have some margin where you just sit and breathe. And you won't have to do that very long before your budget will start to make sense. Because you don't have the power right now emotionally to tell yourself no.
Right.
Or your 14-year-olds no.
It takes a lot of power to tell 14-year-olds no. That's completely draining.
Just
but
eating out when you're exhausted, that's
that's the other thing. Yeah, you don't eat well.
Right.
Because you're eating junk, and then you don't feel good, so the cycle perpetuates itself.
You ask your 14-year-olds, hey, you guys, pick up your clothes, and they go, I don't want to, and you don't have any energy to push back on a 14-year-old, so you just say whatever, and then they get a little sassier, and the whole thing, it comes back to this one magic word of intentionality.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you to audit your calendar and look at your bosses and back it down so that you've got a little margin to love each other well and put that staying down on a budget. And then you've got the emotional strength to make your money and the people touching it behave.
Okay.
But
all right, that's helpful.
That does not come from where you are. I hear you. I feel sorry for you because I've been right where you are. And when you are down to nothing, when you're down to the emotional nub, I mean, it's just hard. The gas, you just got to get some gas back in your tank. And hey, and let me just tell you, the fact that you're there after what you've been through, does not make you a bad person. It makes you a human.
And you're strong.
Normal humans would be right where you are.
That's right. You're not crazy. You're strong.
You didn't do anything wrong, and the beautiful thing is you're smart enough to have recognized where you are.
That's right.
And so I think you can turn this, and you'll be surprised how fast you turn it, actually. But it's a new word. It's the ancient word. You have to use it. No, we can't do that. No, we're not spending that. No, we're turning off the TV. No, put the screens down. No, we're going to breathe on the back porch. This is the Ramsey Show. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author of the book Redefining Anxiety, is my co-host today as we talk about your life, your money, your mental health, anything you want to talk about, we're here. The phone number, 888-825-5225. Betsy starts off this hour in Baltimore, Maryland. Hi, Betsy. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm fine. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure. How can we help?
A few years ago, I got divorced after 21 years, and 3 years ago, I bought a house. And I'll just say that I really didn't have all my wits about me, and I bought a house from a flipper. And I thought I had a realtor that I could trust, and it turned out that I didn't. So I have this 92-year-old house that needs a fair amount of work. I was also talked into getting a 7-year ARM mortgage. Mm-hmm. And I'm in the third year.
Mm-hmm. What do you owe on the house?
I owe 100. I guess I owe about 180.
Okay.
I think that's about where it is now.
If you were to put it on the market without doing any work to it, like it sits today, what could you get for it?
Well, I paid $275.
If you were to put it on the market today, like it sits, with the work that it needs on it, what could you get for it?
Well, that's my issue because my conscience says that I have
What
to sell
is
it
the
as
house
is.
worth?
I would say it would probably go on the market for $275. I just don't know if I.
You think it'll bring that?
I think it could.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Get with a real estate ELP at RamseySolutions.com. Get it on the market and sell it.
That was my question. I didn't know whether I should get out of this.
Yes.
And get out of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything you described in this entire conversation was the opposite of fun.
Right. Well, yeah. The house became more than I thought. I could
the deal was bad going in, and the deal has been bad since you sat there, and you've got a bad mortgage.
Right.
There's nothing here that is happiness.
No.
On top of that, it is a reminder of the mindset you were in, of a poor state you were in when your life fell apart. It's just a reminder every day.
It is.
Get out of it.
Yeah, the broken house kind of feels like the broken you that went in and bought the broken house every time you drive up in front of it.
Do I sell it as is?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're not in the business of rehabbing.
There's somebody that watched way
too
much HGTV that's going to run right into this thing.
Yeah. There's a Chip and Joanna out there somewhere, buddy.
They're smiling big. And hey, will you do me a huge favor?
Yes.
The next time you buy a house, the next time you rent a house, I want you to change your language. And this is important because it's going to make you walk a little bit taller. I want you to change your language from, I got talked into, and to, I did it. It was dumb. I did it. I wasn't in a good state.
Yes.
I did this, and now I'm going to make it right. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it as is. I'm going to make $100,000. I'm going to put that on another property that I've got my wits about me. I'm going to make good decisions, get good counsel, and I'm going to stand 6 inches taller starting today.
So you're going to understand the deal. You're going to understand what the property is worth. You're going to understand what you're getting into, so that no matter how competent or incompetent who you're dealing with is, that you're not going to be taken.
They got to go through Betsy from Maryland, right?
Right. I just was concerned about if I move out of here and the houses are so expensive.
Listen, even if you go rent for a while and it takes you a while to find a reasonable deal, the market has to calm down before you find a reasonable deal. Nothing about the deal that you're in is fun. And so this is a really good time to get out of an unfun deal. Sell it.
Okay. And is summertime okay, or should I have done it?
Betsy.
Sell it.
Yes. Sell it. Okay.
Betsy, how long have you been divorced?
4 years. 4.5 years.
Was that a surprise? Did it shock you?
It wasn't a shock, but...
Was it devastating?
The whole thing was a lie. So it was devastating.
Okay, here's what has not happened in 4 years. You've not learned to trust Betsy again.
That's true.
And the marriage fell apart, but at the end of the day, you blame Betsy. Betsy should have known. And at this point, you've got to stand back up and say, Betsy is worth being trusted, is worth good counsel, is worth good friends, is worth not having to ask 17 different questions when one of the smartest guys in America is telling you what to do.
John.
I was talking about myself, not you, clearly. Clearly me, not you.
Clearly. Yeah, the trick is...
Trust Betsy.
There's going to be a lot of peace that comes if you just go keep your life real simple and rent a nice place for a little while, and you got a little pile of money in the bank, and you don't have any issues anymore. And all of the emotions and the problems that this house represents and the regrets that this house represents are in the rearview mirror, and the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. We call that grace. Look forward.
And give Betsy grace.
Yeah, you're okay. You're smarter than you're giving yourself credit for. You're stronger than you're giving yourself credit for. Good stuff. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You know, we always say personal finance is 80% behavior. It's 20% head knowledge. And I have always anecdotally seen the correlation between bad decisions, being paralyzed on making a decision, to the things that have happened in somebody's life.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a caller in another hour that had gone through chemo followed by pandemic. These are not financial things, but they always affect financial things.
Right.
And financial things always affect them.
That's exactly right.
And so this idea that somehow money is its own little category siloed over here to the side from your emotions, your relationships, your betrayals, your hurts, your physical well-being, the time you were molested when you were 49 years ago. Yeah. All of these things play into your money.
That's right. And they play into, like you said, your marriages and your work relationships. It plays into all that stuff. And Dave, we have we've got a society, a culture that says you are the worst thing you've ever done. You are the worst thing that's ever happened to you. And we do not have a collective sense, either individually or as a culture, of what redemption looks like, what saying, I made a stupid decision and I'm better than that and I'm not going to do it again, and what going forward looks like. Yeah. And we see folks like Betsy who are good people who are trapped in that cyclone of doubt and shame
from the past.
Yeah. And the hardest person to get over doubting is yourself.
Yeah. Good stuff. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. Dr. John Deloney Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Well, you know what can really suck, and that's called living paycheck to paycheck. At the end of the month, you have too much month left at the end of the money. You can never get ahead. You feel like a rat in a wheel. But you don't have to live like this. Stop running in the wheel. Stop. And we can show you how to start making progress. You need to check out Financial Peace University. You can find it at Ramsey Plus. This membership will show you how to make changes that you need to get the results you want. You want to get out of debt? You want to be on a plan? You want to get control? You want to get traction? Financial Peace University can show you how to do that. And again, it's located at Ramsey Plus. It gives you complete access to that, plus all kinds of other courses, plus the Every Dollar Budgeting app. Yeah, it's all there. And listen, if you want to start making real progress, you can do a free trial of Ramsey Plus. That gives you access to Financial Peace University and all these other things. Text the word trial to 33789. Text trial to 33789. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You know, I was talking with some of our marketing team this morning at Ramsey Plus, and I was trying to remember, see if you remember this, when you signed up for Netflix. Do you remember?
Way back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, well, number one, I had it back when they used to send the stupid...
They mailed them to you.
They mailed them to you in these little weird little fiberglass sleeve things. Yeah. And then I quit that because I kept getting... I couldn't watch them fast enough. I felt like it didn't work.
Okay.
And then, of course, now it's online through your Apple TV or whatever, and you can... It's $9 or whatever, $10 or $12, whatever they charge now, and it's... But I didn't sign up for Netflix. I signed up to watch a show that somebody told me about that happened to be on
Netflix. That's right.
And that was the gateway drug.
And then we got off of it, and 10 years later, I remembered that Netflix, or 5 years later, has lots of movies, but that initial one, as I wanted to watch those movies, right?
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean,
nobody went to Blockbuster because they liked it. They went there because that's where the movie was, right?
And it wasn't always there.
Right.
It was the other thing. And then you forget to take it back. And then they would come and mortgage your house.
They take your car from you.
Yeah. You know, this kind of stuff. That was not a model that anyone hated to see go bye-bye. No. But now we've got access in our living room. You can just punch it up and it comes up, right? You don't have to go to the store and get a VHS tape. Yeah. Some of you people don't know what that is. Look it up. You'll probably see it on Google. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I don't remember signing up for Netflix. I remember signing up to watch the show.
Or I did that the other day I didn't sign up to get Apple TV. Everyone kept telling me about this show, Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
And so I signed up to watch Ted Lasso.
And it happened to be
on Apple TV.
On TV. That's right. That's exactly how this works.
Yeah.
That's a different way of doing it. And Lasso's great, by the way. Have you binged it all the way through?
I can't tell you the number of people that said, I think somebody made a movie about you where you
walk.
It was incredible. I loved every second.
You're not as nerdy as he is. But that show is so satirical. It's so well written too.
Oh, it's beautifully written.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And it'll catch you off guard, and all of a sudden your eyes will be leaking too.
Yeah.
You get sympathetic for characters you shouldn't be, and it's very interesting.
It humanizes everybody, which I think is a more honest way to do art these days. But
yeah, it's very, very well done. Yeah, that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah,
because I couldn't tell you where's Yellowstone. We watched that thing, right? It's great.
Yeah,
I don't know. Right this second, I don't know where it sits.
It's on one of the things, right?
It's on one of those places, but I didn't sign up for the thing. I signed up to go watch that, you know? And so that's an interesting way we do things in our culture now. It's very interesting. So that's kind of the way Ramsey Plus is, I guess. Yeah. It's like Netflix. You don't necessarily sign up for Ramsey Plus. You go to Financial Peace University, which happens to be on
it. Or I want to go, I keep hearing about Anthony O'Neill's show. I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah.
He's got some stuff on Ramsey Plus. So check that out.
It's on Ramsey Plus, or I want to watch
on the Ramsey Network.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But you don't sign up for YouTube and then randomly find Anthony. You might, but because he's a big deal on YouTube. But more than likely you're going to find him. Oh, and it's on YouTube. Yeah, that's it. That's so interesting to me.
But the hope is that the products you put out are so good that now you buy it because it's Apple.
Yeah.
If Apple says you need a watch, that's okay, right?
Eventually, but or the shows are so good that you go see what other shows.
The quality is right. That's
what other shows they put
just
out.
Just as quality, right?
You know, the HBO documentary series they've had a good reputation of most of them being pretty good.
Yeah.
And so when HBO has a doc come out, people want to see it.
It's going to be good.
They built a pretty good brand around that. As an example, that's just a consumer's observation. I am not endorsing any of this. So it's just a very interesting kind of a user experience with the way our minds work when we're doing these things. Very interesting. Brittany's with us in Santa Barbara. Hi, Brittany. How are you?
Hi there. I'm great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Okay, so my husband and I are going to be moving our family to eastern Tennessee in probably 1 to 2 years. We have 2 rentals here, both with mortgages, and our primary with a mortgage. So our dilemma is, should we sell the rentals right now, pay off our last small debt, and then do 1031s in Tennessee to buy 2 rentals in cash? Or should we just pay the capital gains here, pay off our last small debt, and purchase rentals and a primary when we move?
Cash. You called Dave Ramsey.
Yes.
Yeah, cash. So you sell them,
okay.
But if you sell them now, you got to buy now. You can't do a 1031 2 years from now after you sell.
Right. Well, we have family in Tennessee that could look after the properties.
Yeah. Why do you have to sell now? Why are you waiting 2 years?
Well, my husband's finishing up school.
Oh, okay.
And so we'd like to have him finish here in California, and then, that's our main reason. But,
sure, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, finish up and then put all the properties on the market and come over here. And you should be able to come to Tennessee, pay cash for everything.
That's what we thought. Yeah, we've been, watching the property values a lot. So
well, they're going to move. They're going to move between now and then, and I don't know. I don't know how much they're going to move up or down. Whether California is going to get in trouble by then.
Well, that's our fear. Exactly.
Yeah. It's possible. It could happen. I mean, if you start seeing cracks in the market, I haven't seen any cracks in the market yet. The only cracks I've seen are the leading indicator of how many people leaving the state.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that's bothering me in terms of eventually that's going to catch up with the economy there and catch up with the supply-demand curve on the real estate. But because there's a bazillion more people leaving than coming in to California and New York right now. So that eventually is going to affect the economy. But I don't know when. And if I'm you, I'm not panicked about that. I'm just going to start watching. But if I start seeing the real estate market locally right around you, right there in Santa Barbara, which is a wonderful area, beautiful area, if I start seeing the market slow down and get to be a little bit lethargic, I'm going to start talking about going ahead and liquidating these things. But I don't think you need to today because I think you've still got a hot market like a lot of the other areas.
Yeah, it's definitely up.
Yeah, if you put a house on the market right now, it'll sell fast, won't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not exactly in a thing here. You're not exactly in a problem. So, that's the deal. So I'm just going to sit on them for today. When you get ready to move, if the market has not made you go ahead and put them on the market earlier, then you move them and do your 1031s and come to Tennessee and pay cash when you make the move. Very interesting.
And the 1031 is just the exchange on the capital gains?
It's a trade. Okay. You're trading one house for another. In the old days, we used to have to buy. We used to have to get the like if we wanted to buy a house in East Tennessee, you would have to get that owner to trade with you
Okay.
But now you can sell the house into an escrow account, a special 1031 escrow account, use those funds to buy another property, and the IRS treats it as if you traded for that property.
So you don't have to pay the...
So there's no capital gains. Your basis rolls in, your gains roll into the next deal.
Gotcha.
You roll them in, and eventually you'll get tagged on that if you ever sell out while you're alive.
Gotcha.
But it keeps you from having to pay right now. A 1031 tax-deferred exchange. Like-kind properties. It's investment property to investment property. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Peter and Catherine are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good afternoon.
Welcome, welcome. Where do you guys live?
We're in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, nice drive to Nashville.
It was.
How much debt have you paid off?
$177,000 in 29 months.
Woo! Love it.
Whoa.
And your range of income during that time?
130 to 170.
Good. What do you guys do for a living?
I work in human resources for a large specialty retailer.
Mm-hmm.
I am a salesman for Cutco closing gifts and kitchen knives.
Oh, good for you. Very fun. Good for you guys. So what kind of debt was the $177,000?
It was a lot of student loans and back IRS debt.
Credit cards, family loans.
Just about everything.
Everything but car loans, really.
You were fairly normal.
Yep.
And normal sucks. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So how much did you owe the KGB? I mean the IRS?
I think it was around $16,000 over a period of a couple years.
Self-employment.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Self-employment.
Self-employment without paying the taxes. Yeah, that'll get you.
That was an awesome point.
That will bite you right there. So, all right, very cool. So what happened 29 months ago that lit this fuse?
Well, it starts a little earlier than that. We met each other end of April in 2018. We got to know each other pretty well, and Catherine realized I was in a pretty poor financial state, and it made her pretty nervous.
So most of this was yours?
Yeah, my bad decisions.
Okay.
And
well, we know the IRS was. That was already set up. Okay.
Yes, it was. And she told me, I think if we're going to have a future relationship with each other, I am nervous about your finances and your debt.
That was so sweet.
I'm speechless.
That's awesome. Instead of like going, dude, if you don't fix this, you're out. She said,
somebody told you.
That's a phrase. That's a great phrase.
Somebody told you that your values were important. And that hitching yourself to a giant lead cement block that was going to get thrown into a river wasn't a great idea.
Yeah.
Who taught you that?
I mean, we both grew up in great financial households.
Okay.
So we had really good role
Yeah,
models.
but your boundaries but the delivery on that too. It wasn't like fix this, you jerk. It was like it was so sweet.
It was implied.
It was so sweet. I know it was.
She's
passive,
an HR
a little
person.
passive aggressive in there, but I liked
delivery.
it.
She gives bad news with smiles and gentleness. That's right.
It's great delivery. I just liked it. Okay.
You're a stud.
So now you're motivated because you got the message.
Well, my
mail delivered. Ding ding.
The response was, I know what I'm doing. I've got a way of doing this.
Really?
I understand. There's Dave Ramsey and all those, and I know how to do it.
Guy
And
Ramsey.
Her response was, well, you might know how to do it, but the way you're doing it is terrible.
Oh, you married an HR director, brother.
And she actually does have a sense of humor, believe it or not.
That's awesome. I believe
HR
it.
and
This is
humor.
great.
So fast forward, we ended up taking Financial Peace University. Ed and Joy Nickerson were great coordinators.
Yeah.
And during that time, it really helped us to get on the same page financially.
Yeah.
And during that time, we got engaged. So we knew that we were going to be starting our marriage on the same footing because obviously finance is one of the biggest stumbling blocks with marriages.
Yeah.
And we would just like to start off on a better footing than stumbling.
Good for you guys.
Yeah. And after about 6 months of Dave-ish, we decided let's really hunker down. Let's get the budget down. Another 6 months of doing that, we thought, we're kind of getting the hang of this. And we decided we would like to pass on this information and this way of life, frankly, to others. And so we signed up to be coordinators for Financial
thank
Peace.
you. Wow,
Yeah,
that's all in.
Our pleasure. And our first class was one person, so we got a lot of one-on-one time. And it helped us to really
figure out what we were doing.
But
saying.
also stay bought in.
Yeah.
And remind why we're doing what we're doing. And we got to run another class. We had 4 folks in there, 2 young couples that had just been married and in a similar position to where we were. And it was just a great way to pass.
They'll be friends for life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at you guys. It's so powerful. Well done. Well done. And don't you love the way she looked at me and she said, yeah, you may know what you're doing, but it doesn't look like it.
But you're not doing it. Yeah. So you have a brilliant, tactful woman that you married. What was it that finally convinced you to look in the mirror and go, you're exactly right? There's a humbling moment there.
It is. It's kind of biting when somebody criticizes the way you do things.
As a great salesman, you always have a comeback. That's what you're great at. But at some point, you had to stop and look in the mirror and go, you're right.
And you're right. Trying to pay off one credit card so that I have money to buy groceries, so that I have some more money to pay off another credit card, and juggling those back and forth and realizing this is no way to live. My parents didn't live this way. I don't want to live this way.
Yeah.
And she's willing to work with me. It wasn't an immediate deal killer, so I thought this is a good woman.
Amen. Yeah. This is a beautiful story.
And you're a humble man.
And both of you are awesome.
You're both good too, man. Yeah.
You're awesome. This is very cool. I mean, you've engaged in some of the hardest things that human beings can engage in. Yeah. The idea of getting engaged, getting married. Oh, and by the way, while we're doing all that, we pay off $177,000. Yes. That's pretty stinking incredible.
And giving feedback and receiving feedback are two hard things too.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
We both owned homes when we got married, so we had to decide who got to keep the house.
I'm guessing you won?
I did.
So there's a theme here.
Just saying.
I did win, but so we had a lot of long conversations after we'd taken Financial Peace. Like, we had gotten married, we both had homes, we moved in together once we got married, and obviously we're not living in different homes, but we talked for a while about
what do we do with the other house?
This is an investment.
Should we keep it? Should we rent it out?
And it's got a mortgage on it. It's not like we owned it outright. So it was
nope. We are over leveraged.
Yeah,
we need to sell it and put that money towards.
And that helped accelerate this thing.
Yes,
it did. Yeah, we
nice.
had some returns from the house, but
and all my stuff that we had to sell.
Oh, so that it all fits. Yeah,
that's right.
It is consolidating to one house.
Well, welcome to marriage. This is awesome, guys. This is so cool. So what do you tell people? You've led Financial Peace. You've paid off $177,000. Someone says, how did you do that? What are the keys to getting out of debt? Because you're professionals. You've actually done it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's a right relationship with money and a right relationship with God. So understanding that it's not our money, I think was huge for both of us.
What does that cause you to do differently?
I think it really changes our point of view towards generosity. Like, this is not our money anyway, so we can have, like, as you've said many times, the most fun you can have with money, which is giving it away. And I think I struggled with that during the journey. I was like, oh, we can't give money to people. I don't know. That was something I think that came up, but I think that right relationship, continuing to tithe and be submissive with the blessings that God has given us, I think has been critical.
Yeah. I would say for me, it was sticking with the budget was the biggest thing, because once you've made those hard decisions ahead of time, you don't really have to make decisions.
There's no strain. The strain is getting it on the paper.
Yeah.
But then and committing to doing it. But if you're going to do what's on the paper, once it's on there, it's just execution.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that.
And it was sometimes challenging when we got a big, a sales bonus or great sales month, or she got a bonus. It's like, oh, we could go buy stuff. But it became, the more we did it, the more we got into the habit of living below our means, and it became more fun to see how many debts and accounts we could close out than how much stuff we could buy.
It gets gamified. We've got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in the story. You're going to be continuing to leave a legacy, and an extra copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away and help somebody with start their journey, start the begin process. Thank you for leading the class. You guys are amazing. Peter and Catherine, Columbus, Ohio, $177,000 paid off in 29 months, making $130 to $170. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Touchdown, baby. Woo! That's how it's done, right there. This is The Ramsey Show. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. John is with us in Pennsylvania. Hi, John. How are you?
I'm doing well, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Sure. What's up?
So I think I'm in baby step 3, but I'm not sure. I paid off all our debt and recently finished paying off the car. We're debt-free, except my oldest son, I've co-signed some of his college loans. So I'm not sure, should I put them into my debt snowball and start paying them off, or just, step in if he starts having trouble paying them?
Is he paying them?
Well, he just graduated in May, and he's still looking for a job.
Okay, so he's got 6 months before he has to start paying.
Yeah.
How much is owed on these loans?
Well, altogether, it's right about $30,000.
Mm-hmm. How much debt have you paid off so far?
Well, really haven't paid off anything. There's a couple different loans.
Oh, I thought you were on. Didn't you say you paid off some debt? And so you thought you were
my debt.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Probably close to $96,000.
Wow.
96,000.
What do you make? Household income.
Household income's about 79.
Okay. Well, you've done very, very well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is what accountants call a contingent liability, meaning that you are liable if he doesn't pay. That's what co-signing sets you up for. So right. You are technically debt-free. You're technically on baby step 3. Okay. I would want your baby step 3 to be pretty beefy. Your emergency fund.
So don't do 3 to 6. Go like 6 to 8 or so.
Yeah, I'm going to probably cheat a little bit up in the 8 side just to kind of offset the fact that you have a kid that has not gotten a job and he's got $30,000 he's supposed to start paying on, and if he doesn't, you're about to. And if you have to start paying the payments because he doesn't, then I'm just going to treat it like my debt. I'm going to stop everything and knock it out.
Yeah, he's got a computer science degree, and he did very well in school, so we're pretty confident he's going to get a decent paying job.
Me too.
But I'm just, at the moment...
For today, I would just set aside extra, but at the 6-month mark, if he doesn't start paying this on time and they start bothering you, just roll up your sleeves and knock it out.
Okay.
And John, take him, if you haven't already, take him to lunch, because he is going to get a good job, and make sure he knows to not go buy a car and a fancy apartment.
Put him into Financial Peace University.
Knock this thing out.
Yeah, well, so we found out about you about 2 years ago, but before, he went off to the college he went to. And so it's a little bit of a moral issue for me because my youngest son, he's sort of getting a free ride because I work at a college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so we're getting like a tremendous discount for him.
Why didn't the other one go there?
Son, they didn't have the degree he wanted at my school.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't see it as a moral issue.
Yeah.
Listen, fair is something that happens at the county.
Yeah.
That's a great line, Dave.
Good one, Dave.
So I mean, it's just it is what it is. If you've got a child that has that is in a different situation, then it's a different situation. And so equal is not fair, fair is not equal, and that's just part of the way life works out. And my kids did not get the exact same amount. The younger one ended up with possibly more because we had a better start by the time he came along. And but it's all worked out for all of them. They're going to be just fine. So, and you can do something that blesses one of the other ones a little bit later if you want to, or something like that. The one that you didn't cost you anything, that kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, you can help if you want to help, but I would be prepared to pay it off immediately as fast as you can if he fails in paying it. That's the way I would position it. Thank you. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Aubrey is in Salt Lake City. Hey, Aubrey, what's up?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a question. So my husband and I got married 3 years ago, and he is graduating at the end of the year with his PhD in mechanical engineering.
Wow. What's he going to do? Teach?
He wants to eventually, but he's got an emphasis in aerospace. He's been working on research with new aircraft, so he wants to
Very cool.
for a while.
That's fun.
But our question is, he's known about you since he started school, so he has no debt for his school. And our debate at home is, we really want to pay cash for a house, but I personally don't see that as possible without saving for 5+ years, depending on his income. And so we were just kind of wondering, when is it? He's 33 and I'm 30.
Mm-hmm.
We're wondering, when is it time to do the 15%, even though we want to pay 100% for a house?
Generally, we tell folks 3 years that you don't want to lay off of your retirement longer than that. But if you have a goal of paying for a house and you have a PhD in mechanical engineering and you're in the aerospace world, I'm projecting a pretty dadgum good income here. And so if you're 33 and you have a paid-for house, you're probably still going to be multi-gazillionaires by the time you get to retirement if you just invest from that point forward.
Mm-hmm.
So if it takes you 5 years, it doesn't kill me in this situation. You see why? Hello?
Yeah, I just ran a bunch of numbers, and I'm a little bit, I don't know, we have 2 kids, and maybe it's just my...
If you can pay cash for a house, by what age?
5 years would be 38.
Okay, at 38 years old, and 30 years is 68, of making $200,000 plus a year and investing substantial amounts because you have absolutely no house payment. If you just invest a house payment for 30 years, that's $10 million. I don't know where you've been running your numbers, but what would have been a house payment that you don't have anymore?
I'm trying to be more conservative with. It just depends on what he wants to do. He doesn't want to work at the big places.
Well, if he's not going to go earn an income commensurate with what I'm talking about, that may change the formula. If he's going to make $30,000 a year because he's taking some half-butt government job or something when he ought to be making 10x that, then no. I do change my answer then. So, yeah, you guess you need to talk that through with him. But I'm projecting a big income in this household, and with no house payment for all those years, you'll have no trouble landing this thing. Yeah, but, I mean, if you want to go... I would think even as a professor teaching, he'd be making 150.
6 figures, depending on how good he is. And I also don't see a challenge with taking out a 10-year mortgage then. And
working it backwards if you want to. It's not, if you want to start saving 15% and take out a short mortgage, that's fine. But I love the idea of paying cash for the house and having being free your entire life.
Yeah.
But you have to commit to all sides of the equation, which is the income side, the investment side after the house is purchased, and the paying cash side. And we're going to be on an intentional, detailed budget to where we hit all of these goals.
Well, and it's going to be a weighing. So if we want to say for 5 years or 4 years, I'm going to take job X.
Yeah.
And as a family, we're going to hit the gas.
Yeah.
So that for the back 30 years, then take that job, man. Take that job plus another job. Take that job and adjunct somewhere else and be a professor there and do what you got to do. So you go in and pay cash for a house and you're done.
Yeah, you'll be in great. I mean, if you have a paid-for house when you're 38 and you're making six figures,
you've won.
You if you invest reasonably out of that, you're going to have $10 million. Yeah. I mean, you really will. So you should be fine. But if you're investing in good growth stock mutual funds at stock market rates of return, you'll be there. You're going to be just fine. But if you don't play through on all of that, then you just end up with a paid-for house and a bad job.
Right.
And that's certainly not what we're recommending. Definitely not. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. James Childs is our producer. Kelly Daniel is our associate producer and phone screener. Dr. John Deloney is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free screen live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author, host of the Dr. John Deloney Show, a very exploding popular podcast. There you go. Check it out. You don't want to miss it. He talks about mental health there and boundaries and relationships and anxiety and how to get along with others and things that people don't know how to do in our culture anymore. So we'll talk here with you about that and about your money in your life. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Brendan is with us in Kansas City. Hi, Brendan. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I've been a big fan of the show, successfully working the baby steps, but unfortunately that's not really why I'm calling today, more of a John situation. So,
okay.
I'll try and be brief. So my sister was going through a divorce, so we let her and her son move in with us. That went pretty badly. She's dealing with some substance abuse issues, and so we kind of confronted on that a few times, and eventually we kind of gave her the choice either go into rehab and get help or find somewhere else to live. So she went into rehab, came back. It was good for a month or so, relapsed, and that's when we told her she had to go. So her son's living with us. She was homeless for about a week, and now she's living in, we flip houses on the side. She's living in a house that was flipping. So that's kind of where I'm at.
So you kicked her out of one house into the other one?
Essentially, yeah. I just felt terrible because she had nowhere to go, and me and my wife decided we could let her live in that house until we were done working on it and sold it. But
that's not working either.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be doing any.
What's she abusing? What kind of substance?
Alcoholism.
Okay. Yeah.
Why did what happened with rehab?
She went through a 30-day inpatient program. She got back. She didn't listen to any of their advice. She was supposed to go to AA meetings and stuff for follow up with things, and she didn't did all right on her own for a few weeks, and just started drinking again and hiding it, and so.
Yeah. Is she okay with her son staying with you guys?
Yeah, and we are too. That's
How old is he?
He's 13 years old.
That's hard.
He's surprisingly a great kid, actually. Everything he's been through. But.
No, he's got an uncle that loves him, and he's got a mom that loves him, right?
Yeah, more. Yeah.
She's struggling.
She doesn't know how to do it well, but she does love him.
So how can we help, man?
I just feel like guilty, like I should be helping her more, or doing more for her. But at the same time, like she's not helping herself, so why should I be, I don't know. I feel like it's enabling to continue to be there for her. I don't know. I'm just struggling with, have I helped enough, or should I do more, or?
Yeah, I ultimately, you making sure her son's got a roof over his head and a family that loves him and some sort of structure and boundaries is a generational shifting gift, okay? And you have given her opportunity and another opportunity. I think it's going to be what you and your wife define by help. But at the end of the day, she's going to have to come to the conclusion that she's going to have to get help, be a part of some programs, change her life, and ultimately decide every day for the rest of her life that she's going to remain sober. And you can't do that. You can't make that happen for her. That's a decision that she's going to have to come to on her own. Unfortunately, most of the time, people have to find themselves with no other place to go. Right? And that's hard, and it's heartbreaking. But at the end of the day, you're going to end up drowning yourself and your family trying to solve somebody else's problem that you can't solve.
Yeah, and that's like, I feel guilt about that. Like I should do more for her. And, I don't. We've kind of already.
Let me help you. You may have already done too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's what John said. He said, define help. So this is just regular guy talk because I don't have the letters after my name. He does. But enablers, all of us are enablers sometimes. And an enabler is someone who is a very nice, sweet person, like you, compassionate. And all of us have some of that, even me.
You got a lot.
And, I have the ability to go there. But what happens is where you cross the line from helping or from loving someone well to being an enabler, meaning you're giving a drunk a drink, is the classic line, right? Where you cross that line is where you defined help wrong. And when you cross that line, when you say, I'm defining help as I'm now participating in the crazy, assisting in the crazy, rather than pushing against the crazy. And so when you create a situation where she can continue in this, you're participating in the crazy. That's defining help wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I follow.
And so a negative default can be to cut off all talk. Until you fix it, you can't talk to us, you can't see anybody. And what I'll often say is addiction is a communication issue. It's a connection issue, right? It's a lack of connection, and people go try to solve that connection through addiction. So here's a great example. I'm going to make sure your son always has a roof over his head. We're going to give him structure. I'm going to take care of him. I'm going to be at Cracker Barrel every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, and I'm going to pay for your breakfast, and I'd love to see you. But July 1, rent stops from us. You're going to have to go get a job and decide you want to get well. And what you're doing there is, and she's going to say, you don't love me, you don't care about me. No, I do. I love you a lot.
I love you so much. I'm not going to create a situation where you can stay drunk all the time.
But I'm not going to threaten my relationship with you. I'm going to keep showing up at Cracker Barrel. I'm going to keep taking care of your kid, and I'm going to cover the cost of breakfast every time because I love you and you're my sister, and you're going to tell me some crazy stories, and they're going to make me laugh. And
anytime you call me, I'll feed you.
That's right.
But we're not going to pay for you to be in a situation that allows you to continue to be a drunk.
That's right.
Because that's not helping you, and I love you too much to participate in your crazy.
Yeah. And the moment you get out of rehab and you say, I'm ready, I'm going to my AA meetings, I do my 30 days in a row.
I'll be cheering with you.
Oh, my gosh,
I'll be there clapping when you get your coin.
That's right.
I'll be telling you how great you are.
I'm going to tell your son how much you love him every night.
And I'm not going to shame you when you mess up. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to be here for you. I love you. But I'm not going to support you while you run the habit.
There you go. I'll be your biggest cheerleader, but not your biggest benefactor.
That's that's tough love. No, that's just love.
Yeah, just love. And hey, unfortunately for you, there is no easy way through this.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
It's going to be heartbreaking.
It's a pain in the butt. Because you have to watch people that you can't control harm themselves.
Not only you can't control them, but you love them.
Yeah, and it's people you love doing stupid stuff.
Heartbreaking.
And they're everywhere.
Good for you for taking care of that little boy.
Very hard. Yeah, you're a good man.
Yeah.
You got a good heart. Oh, so hard. Yeah. So hard. It's crazy in every family.
Addiction
if you
hurts
think there's not in your family, it's you. This is The Ramsey Show. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Well, the housing market is hot. That would be an understatement. Your house could be worth a lot more today than it was 20 minutes ago. That is not an understatement. That's the truth. Your old insurance policy might not give you enough coverage. So if your house is worth $50,000 more than it was a year ago, and your insurance policy has the old value stated on it, that's all you will get if it burns. Hello, you need to update your policy. And guess what? Your insurance agent didn't call you either. Some policies automatically raise your coverage a little, depending on home price, or depending on inflation rates, but not enough to cover what's going on right now. And if your agent hasn't followed up and reset your policy, you do not have adequate coverage. So we recommend endorsed local providers for car and homeowners insurance, and you can get a much better deal, and you'll get an agent that stays on top of things. These are independent agents. They compare multiple policies to find the best possible coverage for your home and your budget. Text HOME to 33789 and talk to a trusted insurance pro about finding the right coverage for you, getting the proper amount at the best possible deal. Text HOME to 33789. Richard is with us in Atlanta. Hi, Richard. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing today?
Better than we deserve, sir. How can we help?
Hi. I'm in baby steps 4 and 6. I make about $36,000 after tax a year. I had an idea of working the next year, getting a side job and living off the side job money. So working about 20 hours extra a week at a different job, and pocketing my primary job's money. And I was thinking about putting it towards saving it towards retirement. So I was just trying to get your opinion on it. I have 6 months saved up right now, so I was just trying to get your guys' opinion on it.
You're single?
I am single. I have 2 roommates who pay my mortgage right now. Yep, the only debt is my home.
How old are you?
24.
Yeah, I'm all in, man.
Doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
Is it necessary for you to have a good life? No. If you start saving,
prospering the next year, I could take a year off and work my butt off.
Doesn't hurt. I mean, I want to work hard, make more money, and have more money. Should I do that? Well, the answer, unless you're, giving up something major in your life by doing that, is yes. That's where money comes from. So, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But I also don't want you to think that you're 24, you make $36,000 a year, you need to panic about retirement. You can start saving 15% of your income now and do that every year as you get raises, as your career grows, and you will be just fine.
Would it make more sense to put that towards retirement and let it grow, or put the $36,000 towards my mortgage?
Well, we teach that you should be putting 15% of your income towards retirement and everything else towards your mortgage.
So both.
Both. So
if you make $56,000 because of working extra, then 15% of $56,000 would go into retirement that year, and any other money you can scrape out of your budget that you want to do something important with would go towards paying off your mortgage early. That's what we teach. Baby steps 4, 5, and 6.
We also teach, especially for 24-year-old go-getters, don't overcomplicate it. Don't try to outsmart the system. Just follow it.
Yeah, and it does kind of feel like that you're trying to figure a way to game the system here. And my point is, you can relax a little.
Yeah.
I think you're doing okay. And it's okay to work extra, make some extra money, and then just follow the process, and you're going to get there. You're going to get there just fine. But it's not like if I front load this thing, can I never work again? Right. It's like, yeah, well, probably. But that's not what I find as normative among baby step millionaires, everyday millionaires that I meet everywhere. Tracy's in Birmingham. Hi, Tracy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. My question is, I am married to a self-made millionaire. We've been married for 3 years, together for a total of 7. I put my career on hold, and I kind of help him with everything, his businesses, multiple businesses,
what do you
everything.
do?
The one job that I have that I actually get a paid salary from is I am a project/office manager for an electrical contracting company.
Mm-hmm.
And we do jobs across the nation. So that is the one job that I do that I actually get a salary for, but on top of that, I help him with everything, all of his other businesses that he has, and all of his personal things, like a normal couple would. But when we got married, I signed a prenup because I know, I understand that you, everything before me is yours, and your success is yours. But I'm starting to feel like we're never going to build together. And I've put my career on hold, and I'm helping out with him and his things. So,
hurts.
Tracy, what else is going on?
There's actually a lot.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to have kids, and that's something that I feel like he's stringing me along with as well. And I feel like everything in our lives is his. Like, there's nothing that's ours. Like, I don't feel like he values my opinion or
You know why you feel this
me.
way? Because that's the truth.
It's true.
That's why you feel this way.
Yeah. You're not crazy.
And, yeah.
Hey, Tracy.
And you know what? That's
Tracy?
funny that you say that, John, because he has been saying that I need to go to a psychiatrist.
Yes.
Because there's no reason why I should be unhappy with my wife, because he provides me with all these things
Except
that I
for
don't ask for.
except for meaning. He tells you what you're going to like and what you're going to love and what you need, and then he provides that without giving you any input on the things that you want and need, and you're living somebody else's life.
It is.
Correct.
Just like we all got Biden. No, we didn't all. People got Biden checks. They didn't get value and purpose, right? It's very similar.
Right.
You're not crazy. It's the gaslighter special. When you say, hey, I'm not doing okay, and they say, well, you should probably go see somebody, right?
Yeah.
Dave said it he was right on. You feel this way because it's true.
Yeah, and I'm a very hard worker. I'm very frugal.
You said you've been married 3 years. How old are you?
I'm 35.
How old is he?
He is 51.
Okay. Yeah, he's acting like a daddy.
Yep.
It's not just the year differentiation.
You're acting like a daughter/employee.
Yeah. He's a wee bit overbearing, don't you think?
I feel that like I am more of an employee.
Yeah. I wonder what would happen if you quit.
I have threatened that in the past.
I wouldn't threaten it. I'd just do it.
Don't threaten.
I'm saying what would happen? I think the dynamic would change.
It changes for a moment, and then, he says all the right things, and then.
Now hold on, but you're. What do you get? What are you getting paid to be the project coordinator / administrative assistant? What do you make a year?
Approximately like $50,000.
Okay, you can go find another $50,000 job.
Yeah, go find a different job. Go find a different job.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the thing that he always says is that I am spoiled and entitled because he pays all the bills, which he has.
Hey, hold on. I don't care what he says anymore.
All of a sudden, what he says doesn't matter. I've heard enough of it.
Yeah, you don't work for him anymore. Now y'all have a chance to work on your marriage because you're not.
You need to go get a job somewhere else and get a marriage counselor. And if he won't go without him and let the marriage counselor navigate you through setting this guy up for one possible chance to win or two possible chances to win. And then this isn't going to go well.
Yeah.
It's already not going well.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I'm heartbroken for you.
John, somewhere around 2% of the public should be institutionalized.
Probably higher than that.
They're crazier than a bean. So let me tell you how crazy. And there's nothing crazier than a crazy Christian either. So Deborah from Maryland calls at the break, won't go on the air, and tells Kelly to tell you and I that we missed the last call, that we screwed up the poor lady who's being who's dealing with an overbearing, out of control husband, and says that you and I are not very Christian because if we were real Christians, we would have told the woman to submit and she would be happy. Whoa. This is what you call an idiot.
Whoa.
Deborah, you're an idiot. We didn't miss it. You did. And people like you give Christianity a bad name when you misinterpret Scripture and you think that someone should live in a toxic situation with an abusive husband, and you call that submission. That's not submission. That's idiocy.
Wow.
Was I unclear?
I don't fully understand what you're talking about. Just can you help me?
Goodness gracious.
Oh, man.
Well, the proof that there will always be a need for your show and mine.
The future mental health practitioners of America, thank you. Wow. That breaks my heart, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, you want your daughter in that?
No.
So she want her daughter in that?
No.
Her daughter walks in and is treated that way. You should just submit. I just want, ugh.
Wow. Yeah, as two guys who have daughters who are brilliant and intelligent and very strong.
And as two guys who have wonderful, strong, brilliant wives.
Golly.
Who are not overbearing and don't tell us what to do, but we're not overbearing and tell them what to do. We like work as a team.
Yeah.
Submit yourselves one to another.
It should be a race to the bottom in marriage.
That's a scripture thing.
Yes.
It's in the scriptures. Okay. All right. We got to talk to these wonderful people, and let's change the subject and go positive now. 3, 2, 1. Christopher and Ananda are on the debt-free stage.
Hey.
Right here at Ramsey Solution. Way to go.
Thank
How
you,
much
Dave.
debt have you guys paid off?
We've paid off $110,000.
All right. How long did that take?
19 months.
Good for you. And your range of income?
We had a decent shovel. We started at 180, 185, and now we're north of 200, just north of 200.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I am a cloud IT engineer.
I bet you are.
And
I'm a Lutheran school principal.
Wonderful.
Outstanding.
Wow. Cool. Where do y'all live?
We're just outside of St. Louis, O'Fallon, Illinois.
Yeah, okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So good to have you guys.
It's good to be here, Dave. Yeah.
Very, very well done. How much, what was this $110,000 in debt?
All the usual stuff. I had about 60-some thousand in student loans, and we had the cars, and we had the credit cards. We had a little bit of medical in there, too. Just the gambit, you know.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good, good. So you're kind of normal.
We're very normal.
How long y'all been married?
Almost. It'll be 16 years on Friday.
So what was the wake-up call 19 months ago?
Oh, gosh. Well, we had lots of red flags, lots of warning signs. The one that finally got to us was we sat down with one of our church's financial planners for estate giving, in the future, thinking about that stuff. And we realized when we did all of the paperwork and the balancing of the pros and the cons and the plus and the minuses, we had nothing really to give.
Nothing to give.
Other than life insurance.
Right. And your assets and liabilities equaled zero.
Zero. We're broke.
No net worth.
That's right. That's right. So it was kind of a pointless thing to go through, getting all this together and not have anything to leave anybody.
It was a wake-up call.
That was a wake-up call. We wanted to do something different, better for us, better for our kids, and change the family tree.
Good for you guys.
Very neat. Yeah, that's wonderful. So what did you do?
Well, shortly after that, we also had a small vacation, kind of an extended weekend to Kansas City, and we had to really pare that down because we had no money. Again, back to the no money thing. And those two things kind of hit us at the same time. And I started watching your YouTube videos. YouTube got me over to Dave Ramsey, trying to find answers to how to fix this, and countless hours spent watching that and then listening to the podcast. And then I Total Money Makeover read the book and talked to Ananda about it. And
yeah, we went through, we did the Financial Peace University. We did it on our own at home.
Yeah.
Went through the first 2 steps together, watched the videos and read through the book and did those things, got the Every Dollar app, and we were really, very religious about paying attention to that and making sure that we knew where every dollar was going and planning it out. And so we were able to do all of that debt payoff, but also do a lot of other things too that we didn't even really think about doing. For example, we were able to cash flow a master's degree for me in that 19 months of time while we were also paying off the debt. So
good for you.
Yeah, it's just about...
Just got intentional, huh?
Yeah, being smart and prioritizing and making good choices.
Awesome.
Dave, I called into the show later of 2019.
Uh-oh, was I nice to you?
Well, no, you shouldn't have been. We were doing okay enough to be extremely done with our money, and that was the kick in the pants that I needed to realize that, hey, we're squandering.
I wasn't nice.
You were nice to him, I could tell.
Squandering the resources that God's provided for us and blessed us with, and it really doesn't matter how big or how small those resources are. You can squander 2 pennies if you're done with money, and so we had to get smart with money, and you helped us along that way. So.
Well, you know, I was only mean to you because I love you.
Yeah, I know it. I know it. So glad.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
incredible. You've got to make some choices when you have to curb a vacation to Kansas short. That's
right.
when you look in the mirror and say,
That's right.
We should probably make some changes.
Yep. We live in the Midwest, and we went to the Midwest for vacation.
And you had to take a left turn. So.
We did.
Wow.
We did.
Incredible.
That's right. Yep.
And I love the school principal telling us all we should make good choices. Such a principal thing to say. That's fantastic.
I wouldn't be very good at my job if I didn't.
You're incredible at your job.
That's amazing.
Hey, everybody.
So
Cloud
what do you
computer.
tell people now that you did this, that the key to getting out of debt is?
I know for me, I actually tell a lot of the teachers that I work with at our school, and our church has sponsored this program before and run the classes through the church too, but I do tell people it's actually easier than you think that it will be. I felt like it was. I know my husband had to pull me along a little bit at the beginning. He and I are both very strong personalities, and so that was tricky to start with at the beginning to figure out, who was going to sort of take the reins and lead. But
So you weren't like submissive.
No, that's
exactly.
nothing. I don't struggle with that.
He does, but you don't.
To those of you listening, she is wringing her hands.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
By the way, I figured that out real early.
I love it. Good.
But no, I tell people that it's a lot easier than you think, and that for us too, it's about what we can do in a short amount of time, so that for the long future, we're able to live and give like nobody else.
Live like no one else.
Yeah.
Way to go.
And you've changed the trajectory of their life.
Yeah.
Good
The
for you
kiddos.
guys. The
The
kiddos
kiddos,
over
yeah.
there.
Well, I'll tell you this about them too. So my husband
Bring 'em on
would
up.
listen to the. You guys want to come up? We would listen to the podcast in his car with the boys all the time when he took them to school and picked them up from school. And there was one day I hadn't listened to the show, and there was one day in the backseat of the car that these two said, "Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show, where dead is dumb and cash is king," and they could do the whole
Opener.
Oh my
Yeah, that's awesome.
They know when you ask them how they're doing, they say better than I deserve.
Yeah, I like these guys. I like
do
these
all of
guys.
that.
What are their names and ages?
So this is Lucas, and he's 10, and Jonah is 8, and Micah is 2.
Good-looking men.
Awesome.
Very good. Very good. Well done, you guys. We're very proud of you. We got a copy of the Legacy Journey for you to take you into the next chapter of your story. Definitely leaving a legacy for these young guys, and a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away to somebody that helped you, and you can give away a copy to someone else and pay it forward. So very, very, very well done. I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Excellent work. All right, Christopher and Ananda, Lucas, Jonah, and Micah of St. Louis, $110,000 paid off in 19 months, making $180 to $200. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Love it! Woo! This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Matthew 5:16. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Elizabeth Elliot said, Of one thing I am perfectly sure. God's story never ends with ashes. Our question of the day comes from the good people at Blinds.com. You can find out for yourself why they are the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best possible deal.
2 months ago, today's question comes from Alicia in Arkansas. Man, this is a good one. 2 months ago, we started on the baby steps. My husband made a budget, and I'm sticking to it. There isn't much wiggle room to lower the budget as we have 3 children. My husband works 2 jobs from 6:30 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. I have a day job where I can bring our 2 youngest children so we don't have childcare costs. My husband thinks that if I was truly on board with getting out of debt, I'd get a second job. Caring for our children and home is already a full-time job, and I can't be away from home as many hours as he is. Could I please have some guidance as to what is realistic for me to do? Can I tell you when I first read this? You know what it sounds like? It sounds like an exhausted dad and an exhausted husband, and who's
feels stuck, and so he's getting this comparative sacrifice game. I'm sacrificing more than you, so my sacrifice is more valuable than yours, and man, that's an exhausted person who's out of steam and out of gas and needs to take a break for a second before everything just burns down. That's hard. Yeah, there's one of 2 things going on in the math there. Yeah. Both of which are causing stuck, or either of which is causing stuck. thing. One is the income is very low.
Yep.
Even though he's working like crazy, he's not making any money.
Okay.
And so there's not enough income to just keep the wolf away from the door, so to speak. If that's the case, you have a career Ken Coleman moment here. You need to be thinking about working smarter, not harder. And I know that's cliche, but you probably need to not make minimum freaking wage and work 800 hours.
Yep.
You cannot get ahead doing that. So you've got to do something where you make more money, if that's the case. The other possible thing is you're making plenty of money, but you're sitting on two $45,000 cars with $800 payments.
Mm-hmm.
And you're suggesting that she go do this instead of selling these stupid butt cars you have, or this house you bought that you can't afford. The house payment is 50% of your take-home pay.
Gotcha.
And you need to sell the stinking house. Something is in the log jam here, and the old lumberjacks in the old days. My great-great-grandfather David L. the First was owned a lumber company back in the turn of the century, and they would cut timber in Kentucky or eastern Tennessee or western North Carolina, and they would the huge logs, they put them in the river, and that's how they transported them. There were no big trucks to take them. They float them and they'd ride them and poke them. And if the river had a horseshoe bend, it hit in the corner, those logs would pile up. And that's called a log jam.
Yeah.
Thus the name.
Yeah.
You know how they fix the log jam? Throw dynamite in the middle of it. Blow it up. And then the thing, blow some of them out and they start flowing around again. So you throw dynamite in the middle of a log jam is how you fix it. And so when you've got a mathematical log jam, you got to blow it up.
Yeah.
You got to sell the house. You got to sell the cars. You got to sell everything in sight.
Yep.
And so either you've got a bunch of things around there that the payments on you can't afford, or you have an income issue. It might be a little of both, but it's probably distinctly one or the other.
What are the chances of a number 3 that I've heard throughout my career, which is a guy goes to work. Traditionally, a guy goes to work and works real hard and thinks his wife is just, quote unquote, sitting around at home. She just gets to play with the kids all day. Well, I'm off X, Y, and Z, and it'd be nice if she got off her butt every once in a while and went and did
Yeah, I run into that sometimes, but most of the time it's because he doesn't think that we can make it if she doesn't.
Oh, so it still goes back to a math problem.
It does. I mean, most of the time, there's that sense of we're stuck. In other words, let's say this. Let's say, okay, he's working and he thinks she's kind of sitting on her butt, but he's making $300,000 a year and they got no money problems.
Yeah.
That usually doesn't come up then.
Right.
He goes, okay, sit there and eat bonbons. And he's kind of doesn't. Maybe there's some respect issues or something like that. But he's not like slamming his fist on the kitchen table, going, "Why don't you go to work, you lazy bum?"
Right.
He doesn't. That usually doesn't come up there. Where it comes up is when things are tight.
Yeah.
Usually
scary.
Usually, I'm scared. I feel stuck. I feel hopeless. Yeah. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, Proverb says. And so that's kind of what's going on. So, I'm with you. I don't think this is a bad guy. I think he's a tired guy
he's
or
exhausted.
A stuck guy. And he can't see his way out. And he's going, we got to do something. And his version of dynamite is putting the wife out again.
Yeah.
You're not making enough. I'm doing all I can do. So you got to row harder.
And I always want somebody, this reminds me of my grandmother used to tell me, after she had her 4th kid, she always wanted to go back to work. And my granddad used to say, we can't afford for you to go back to work because childcare costs were so expensive. And they've accelerated exponentially since back then. And so I always want to model this out too. Before you go get a second job, here's what it's going to cost to put 2 or 3 kids in daycare.
And buy professional clothing and put the car on the road more.
Right.
And fatigue food because I'm not here to cook.
There you go.
And pre-prepared food's more expensive than cooking from scratch. It's also not as good for you. But it takes more time at home to cook prepared food. To cook from scratch. So, there's tons of value that the home economist economically actually brings.
That's exactly right. So there's something about you two need to get away for a minute and just stop and say, where are we?
Yeah.
Where are we?
Yeah, he's a hardworking guy. He's not a bad guy.
And she's a hard worker too.
Yeah, they both are. But she's pretty pissed at him the way I can read between the lines here. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She didn't like that.
No.
She didn't like him calling her lazy.
No. Yeah. And when I see somebody working full time and taking 2 kids to work with them, they're not. Right?
Yeah, they're not. She's not.
They're in a log jam. I like that. I like that analogy, Dave. Sometimes you just got to throw dynamite in it and say we need to figure something else out.
Something's got to blow up here because what we're doing is not working. Keep doing the same thing over and over again. Definition of insanity.
That's right.
Expecting a different result. Sophia's in San Antonio, Texas. Hi, Sophia. How are you?
Hi. How are you guys?
Great. How can we help?
So I'm a college student, and in my last few years of high school, I was able to save a pretty good amount of money. And so now I'm wondering, how much should I invest and how much should I sort of hold on to in savings?
What are you studying?
I'm studying cybersecurity.
Oh,
very cool, Sophia.
You are going to make so much money. I'm so proud of you. When did you say you're going to graduate?
I'm going to graduate in 3 years.
Cool. Are you going to come work for us?
Come on, Sophia.
Actually, I'm in Air Force ROTC.
Ah,
I actually have a scholarship there.
Very good.
Oh,
okay.
good for you.
So how long will you be in the service?
At least 4 years.
After school.
But I plan to serve longer.
Okay, good for you. Thank you for your service. Yeah. Thank you for how bright you are and mature you are, way beyond your years. So here's the thing I usually tell people is the main investment we need to make, the most return mathematically on investment, the most ROI you can get, return on investment, is investing in this wonderful product called Sophia Studying Cybersecurity. Completing that degree 100% on time, debt-free, no stress, pile of money in the bank when you do it, is more valuable than the money you might make on a mutual fund if you tried to invest some of the money and then ended up messing around and getting a student loan because something bad happened to your money.
Right.
Literally, the actual money you will make in the field of study you're in is way more than you're going to make on a mutual fund. So wait until you graduate to start your investing. You'll be just fine. You're going to be doing great. I would just pile up a big old pile of cash. And when you graduate, you've got all kinds of options with that cash, all kinds of things you can do with that cash then. And you can get out. And so, John, in a world where everybody hates colleges and universities now based on how expensive they are in this epic student loan crisis with our Borrowed Future podcast, we still believe in higher education when you study something that's usable.
Yeah, and when you can be intentional and pay for it.
Yeah, and then she's did all of the above. Very, very bright. Very bright. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Our thanks to James Childs, our producer, Kelly Daniel, our associate producer and phone screener. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even send clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.